Get the get the cork out. Hello, all of you beautiful lovebirds. It's nearly Valentine's Day. We are going to do something very beautiful for the person that you love in your life. Yes, we're going to make the most beautiful creme caramel. Simple, delicious, classic. I'm serving it here with the caramel and beautiful passion fruit. Get that? Passion fruit. Woo. So, let's do something delicious. In this book, 5 ingredients. Mediterranean, of course, it's beautiful recipes with just 5 ingredients. We've got something for everyone. So look, we need 2 pans for this. I've got 1 pan here for 600 mils of whole milk, or any chosen milk that you wish, but I would go for nice organic whole milk is amazing. I like to flavor that with vanilla. You can get the pods if you can get hold of them, or you can use the vanilla extract. Don't get the essence because that's just fake, but get the extract, that's very, very good. Get the tip in the bean, run your knife all the way down the length of the vanilla, open it up with your knife, and then scrape out those incredible little black dots here. So get the seeds and the vanilla pods into the milk and just simmer those to let them infuse. Let's get on to the caramel. So get yourself a frying pan like that. We're going to put it onto a medium heat, and I'm going to go in with 100 grams of white sugar. And then all I want is like 2 or 3 tablespoons of water that will go in. So you can see the water has absorbed into the sugar, right? Literally don't touch it. We're going to let that come up to a boil, then a syrup, and then a caramel. Be brave, go dark. That will give you the best flavor and the best color. So 2 eggs, lovely large free-range eggs, into a bowl, no shell please. Then get another little dish, bag or bowl, and I'm gonna crack the egg and put the whites of 4 eggs into your dish. But in here, we're gonna put just the egg yolks. So we've got 2 whole eggs there and 4 egg yolks. We can just put these into a container and put those in the freezer until you wanna make a nice little pavlova or meringue. So we'll get rid of these. So into the eggs, we're gonna add 60 grams of white sugar, and we're gonna beat that up with a whisk. So by using 2 eggs and 4 yolks, you're gonna get a silkier, richer creme caramel. It's gonna be absolutely beautiful. I'm smelling now, I'm using my senses. If you look over here, the color is going from white to lightly golden. If you're making caramel and you've got kids or clumsy people, right, get them out of the kitchen. That's very hot. That's hotter than boiling water. So now we've got a nice caramel happening here. I'll take it off the heat. Look at the color we got there. Beautiful. It's dark, right? Dark brown. Just drizzle, without touching anything, the caramel into your dishes. So you want enough caramel to coat the bottom, and as soon as you poured it in, just move the dish around. So we have 6 beautiful heart-shaped dishes. Obviously, it's Valentine's Day, and I'm a romantic. We have a pan that has got burnt caramel on it, right? So what we're gonna do is just fill it with just a little water, just like a centimeter, and we're gonna put that on a low heat. And that will completely naturally clean itself, and it will be no effort to clean it at all, I promise. So we have caramel, we have the incredible eggs beaten up here with the sugar. Down here you can see we've simmered the milk with the vanilla. I'm just gonna grab the milk here and just pour it into the eggs. The heat of this milk will just start the cooking process of the eggs. But eggs cook at quite a low temperature. So although this milk is nice and hot, it isn't gonna cook the eggs fully at all. We're gonna do that in the dish. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is just get a spoon, and I'll remove the vanilla pod. As lovely as that is, you can't eat it. And I'm gonna take the spoon and just get rid of any frothy bits. To be fair, you're going to turn it upside down anyway, so you'll never see it. I'm just being very, very detailed because this is a very important dessert because it's a Valentine's Day. And if you do a good job and the person that you're cooking it for loves it, then you might get lucky. Get yourself a ladle and just pour your mix into your little heart-shaped molds. You want about 1 inch in depth. Oh, it smells amazing. If you have a look at the pan, can you see how lovely and clean it is? It's just cleaned itself in a beautiful way. So, look, it's quite impressive, right? I'm here to help you at this time of year. I have a kettle of boiling water, and what I'm gonna do is just pour that into a tray. Now let me tell you what's going on here, right? Eggs are very kind of delicate. They cook at a low temperature. So if we rush them, they scramble and turn into frittatas and omelettes and things like that. But if we cook them slowly and if we protect them, and this is a water bath, or as the French would call it, a bain-marie, right? We're gonna put about 1 inch of water in here, and I've put the little molds on some greaseproof paper or a tea towel, and we're gonna cook them at 150 degrees Celsius, which is 300 Fahrenheit. So that gentle cooking for half an hour is gonna give you a creme caramel that's really wobbly, really light, really silky, really delicate. And I believe, you know, this recipe is not just about the flavor of vanilla and caramel, but it's also about texture. So in we go to our oven, gentle, gentle, we go. Then we're gonna take it out in that tray and let the lovely creme caramels cool down in that water bath. So for like an hour, right? Once they've got to room temperature, then we're gonna pop them in the fridge for at least 4 hours. Then you get this texture, it's cold, it's creamy, it's gonna be amazing.
If you're enjoying this, then please click the like button and give us some love, and don't forget to subscribe. Oh, and remember to turn on that notification bell so you know what's happening. Now, back to the recipe.
So here you go, we've got our lovely creme caramels here. Of course you can do them in any mold you like. You can even do big ones, which are really beautiful. So give yourself 1 inch of boiling water into a dish. Get yourself a couple of lovely dishes into the water like that. Leave it for about a minute, maybe a little bit more. What we can do while it's doing its thing is get a little knife and run our knife around the outside of our dish. And then what I tend to do is just use my finger here, clean obviously, to move it around. When you can see that lovely dessert kind of almost floating in that sea of caramel, you know that's a good thing. You can even see a bit of that caramel come up to the top. Can you see it just kind of bleeding through? So now we know we're in a really good place. Look at that. That's going to be very special. So look, that's had a minute and a bit now. This is the time where you turn down the lights and you change the candle. Scented candle. Yeah, feel the vibe. You could maybe finish off, instead of start off, finish off with some pink bubbles. Get the get the cork out. Everyone's still alive, don't worry. I was kind of hoping it'd go over the camera and look really Hollywood. Okay, so we got champagne. We're going to take out our little creme caramels. We're going to take the plate. We're going to pop our mold under the plate and then just flip it like that. And if we're lucky, our lovely caramel will just melt out. And then at the opportune moment, you just let it glug out. And there you have it. Beautiful people. That is a classic, really nice creme caramel. If you give it a little shake, can you see how it's got a nice wobble on it? Also, fruits that do work with it. Passion fruit is particularly good. Squeeze some of that over the top like that. That is a beautiful twist on a classic creme caramel. A great recipe, super reliable, and do that for someone that you love. Right, time to try it. It's so delicate, so fresh. So there you go, guys. A beautiful dessert for any time of year, but particularly for Valentine's Day. We are going to do something very beautiful for the person that you love in your life. Marry me pie. It is a thing of joy. So what's in it? Okay, this is basically a steak, cheese, and mushroom pie, but taken to the next level. It's elegant. It's delicate. It's got the most amazing gravy. So we make, first of all, this incredible pastry. Flour, butter, suet, salt, pepper, and then cold water. While that's resting, we get on with the stew. So first job, you get the short ribs, and we season them generously with black pepper, some salt, some beautiful chopped rosemary and thyme, and a little bit of flour, and we just encrust the short ribs in that. And then we brown it off in a big pan with a little olive oil and butter. And once you've got it nice and golden, we can remove those short ribs and we go back in again with fresh oil and butter, and we fry off some beautiful shallots, carrots and celery that we've roughly chopped. Let that cook for about 10 minutes until it's sweet and gorgeous. So when it comes to the mushrooms, we're going to use both fresh and dried. Now with the dried, we take dry porcini, put it into a glass bowl, top it up with boiling water to rehydrate. That is a really deep and savoury and mysterious flavour. It's utterly delicious. Then, with the fresh porcini and any other wild mushrooms that you can get your hands on, we'll cook those with a little garlic, a little thyme, salt, pepper, and just do beautiful fried mushrooms and put it to the side to cool down. At this point, we stir through a generous amount of tomato puree, some flour to thicken. We then go back in with the short ribs. Then we go in with some lovely stout or beer or IPA or whatever you truly love. We take the porcini out, just roughly chop it, and then into the pan it goes. We'll make sure everything's covered. We'll just bring it to a simmer, then I'll pop a lid on top, and we'll let that cook in the oven really low for about 5 hours until the meat falls off the bone. Now, we put the whole stew through a coarse colander, and that thick gravy will go through, and that will be your gravy to have your pie later. And then in the colander, you create the perfect consistency for a pie filling. We'll remove the bones, and we'll just flake it up, and then we'll just let it cool down. This is the fun bit. We make the pie. We'll roll out that amazing pastry about 1/2 centimetre thick. I'll take a lovely dish and we'll push it into the mould. We then generously grate in some Mrs. Kirkham's Lancashire cheese, my favourite cheese. We put some of that at the bottom. Then we go in with the beautiful short rib filling on top. Once the meat's in, I pat it down, put the lovely mushrooms on top that we've cooked, and then a little bit more cheese on the top. And finally, a beautiful pie top. We roll out any of the trimmings, and because it's a marry me pie, we'll use a heart cutter just to cut out some hearts to put around this beautiful pie. Egg wash, and then we make a little hole in the middle, and in the oven at 160 to 170 degrees Celsius for about 40 to 50 minutes until golden and crisp. And there you go, it is a thing of joy. That with the gravy over the top is just so, so good. So what are you waiting for? Enjoy. So one of my favourite pasta dishes I had on my honeymoon in the Amalfi Coast, I've named Honeymoon Pasta. Linguine with gorgeous shellfish, prawns, tomatoes, lemon. And this recipe is definitely a recipe of my heart. It's super romantic, it's really nice to share with someone, and it's so simple. We go into some really fast boiling water with linguine, cook it al dente for sure. So I get a cold pan on the heat, I add olive oil, and as that temperature comes up, I add finely sliced garlic, chilli, capers, a little anchovy, just let the anchovy just melt away. That's your little signal to go in with the clams, the mussels, or any other shellfish. And we shake it all around in that gorgeous flavour. Then I add the prawns, the langoustine, the finely sliced and scored squid. And we shake it all around in that gorgeous flavour, and then in with something a little bit fancy, Prosecco. Let that cook away, and then we crush in beautiful, high quality plum tomatoes. I add some herbs, lid on top. Just in a minute or two, that's enough time to really pop those mussels and clams, and the juices will come out, mix with the tomatoes, and give you the most incredible sauce. By that time, if you're lucky, your linguine is going to be perfectly cooked. So I literally just pull it from the water into that sauce and just toss it and toss it, taste it, correct the seasoning, and serve it as quickly as possible. Maybe with a little flourish of olive oil, maybe with a little finish of some fresh herbs, and that's it. It's a thing of joy. It's quick, it's beautiful, super romantic. That is the most perfect pasta. It's incredible to share with someone and serve it as quickly as possible. This is the home of my cooking. It's food that makes me really happy. Honeymoon Pasta. Enjoy. The ultimate chocolate tart is a thing of joy. The most incredible pastry with hazelnuts through it. We have the chocolate that's scented so delicately with orange zest, which is amazing, and Vinsanto. And that just constantly cut on a plate with creme fraiche is absolutely the most amazing thing. So what I like to do is get 450 grams of flour, make a little well in the middle. I'll put 2 egg yolks. I'm going to flavour it with something very special. 50 grams of hazelnuts, slowly toasted, pounded up to a flour. I'll put a nice tablespoon of beautiful vanilla extract, 100 grams of icing sugar, gorgeous butter diced up, and I'll put that around the edge where the flour is. Just rub it through. You'll see it kind of go nice and chunky, almost like a kind of crumble topping. And then beautiful cold whole milk. So as it comes together, just kind of mold it and pack it, and then press it down, put it in some greaseproof paper and let it rest in the fridge for about 40 minutes. After 40 minutes, I'm going to cut it in half. Press it together to a nice little round circle and then roll it out. And then once I've got it about sort of ½ centimetre thick, I unwind the pastry on top, ease in the sides and push the pastry into the corners. Then we want to bake it blind. What I use for baking all the time is just some rice, and it sets it so it doesn't shrink down the sides. Pop it in the oven for 15 minutes. At that point, carefully pick up the paper, remove it, then put it back in the oven for about 5 to 10 minutes until it's beautifully golden. Now, while that's cooking, we're going to make this incredible chocolate. Get 300 millilitres of double cream, bring that up to a simmer. I'm going to use 2 heaped tablespoons of golden caster sugar. Use a speed peeler to get one nice long piece of orange peel. Let that go into the cream. Take your cream that's simmering away off, put the chocolate in with 100 grams of beautiful butter, a nice pinch of salt. Use a little spatula if you want. At this point, remove the orange peel, and then what you can do is add 50 mils of beautiful Vinsanto. This is a thing of joy. At this point, very often, it will start to look like it's going to split. So we add 100 mils of cold whole milk. It will be incredible to look at. It will smell amazing. And then we take the pastry case out of the oven and pour that gorgeous chocolate straight into it, and we just leave it. That, for me, is the ultimate expression of chocolate. A slice of chocolate tart, a beautiful lob of indulgent creme fraiche with that nice tang, a little glass of beautiful Vinsanto, and for me, that is a thing of joy. So what are you waiting for? Enjoy.
If you're out to impress, be it your mates or your other half, a classic steak cooked in this special way is always a winner. Sometimes we all deserve a lovely treat, and we're going to cook a beautiful steak. This is for me and Jules, steak night, date night. It's really quick, it's really delicious. I want to share with you a brilliant technique to making the perfect sirloin steak, right? Tender, melt in your mouth, cut like butter, right? And then to elevate it, make it exciting, I'm going to make my version of a red chimichurri sauce, full of flavour, full of life. It takes your everyday steak to the next level. So look, I've got a pan here, non-stick, large, on a medium heat. Let's start with the steak. Beautiful sirloin of beef. It's nicely marbled, and we've got this lovely fat here. This is mainly grass-fed, which is fantastic. But what we have here, can you see, this is a really tough, thick sinew. That's like a leather belt, and people tend to keep that on because they want to cook it with the fat. And what I would suggest to do is pull this fat off, and this fat is really, really important. This is going to give you the flavour, and it's going to give you the fat you require to cook this. But what we don't want is this sinew, right? Because you might remember ordering a sirloin in a restaurant and you get that really tough bit that you kind of push to the side. It's a real pain. So what I love to do is slice this up into little chunks, and what we can do is make crispy bits and render it down. So instead of putting butter or oil in this pan, we're going to cook the steak in the steak fat. And then here, get the knife, and I'll just skim off that tough piece of sinew. And honestly, that's as tough as old boots, and you'd have to stew that for 4 hours to make that tender. So we'll get rid of that. So as the fat comes up, can you see how it's getting crispy? Then I'm going to put in here a couple of cloves of garlic. I'll leave the skin on, and that will flavour the fat as well. So that's really, really exciting. And then season that with lots of nice black pepper, and then some sea salt. Pat that in, and then just roll it around the board to pick it all up. So what I'm doing here is going for one thicker steak for 2 people.
And by having a thicker steak, that means that we can get that lovely golden outside and still cook it medium rare. So often when you go to the supermarkets, one of the challenges is they cut the steaks very thin to make it a portion, and that makes it really hard to cook, you know, nice and juicy and blushing. I'm gonna wash my hands. You can see it starting to sizzle now. You can see it getting golden, all the crispy bits. Crispy bits are the best. As that's happening, I'm gonna use spring onions and chilies to kind of cook and char in the steak juices to make the most amazing red chimichurri, really delicious. So, 2 lovely chilies. Run your knife down the length of the chili like that. They're normally sort of medium hot, but by scraping away these seeds, you're cooling it down massively. Go in with those halves of chili, and then I've got a bunch of spring onions here, right? So I've just given them a wash and given them a trim, and they go in as well. So all of this happens in the same pan. Chimichurri from Argentina and Uruguay would typically be parsley, oregano, vinegar or lemon, olive oil, garlic, and you'd use it in basting meats or finishing. And by kind of scalding and charring these spring onions and chilies, I'm adding a different dimension to my version of a red chimichurri. Let's do the sauce part. Typically, with a chimichurri, you just chop it on a board. But I want to use a liquidizer. I'm going to take the chili, half of the spring onions go in there, and then the garlic. I'll just remove that skin. And you see how the garlic just comes out of the skin like that. I'm going to take a little, half a bunch of parsley. Also, I'm using these jarred peppers. They're sweet, they're roasted, they're peeled, and the flavour from these are amazing. Half a jar, in that goes. Now, take those splits of spring onion and the crispy bits off. We'll put those to one side. In the pan now, we have lovely natural beef fat. So that is when our steak goes in. So we're going to cook the steak in steak fat. When you're pan frying a steak, do it a minute on each side until it's cooked to your liking. So whether it's well done, medium rare, whatever you like. So I'll do a turn now. For me, medium rare is what I'm after, about 3 minutes on each side. But Jules likes it a little bit more than me, so I can give her the ends or meet her halfway. After 20 years of marriage, you know what the answer is. Meet them halfway. And what I love about this recipe, it's got a really nice flow. So as that's happening, over here, put a nice little lug of extra virgin olive oil in there as well. And then red wine vinegar, pinch of salt and pepper. And that, whizzed up, is going to be amazing. Right, the sauce is done. Let's keep turning the steak around. I reckon that's going to be about medium rare. I'm going to place that on top of the spring onions to rest. It's always nice to rest your steak. And a little bit of that steak fat we can just put on top like that, just to keep it nice and moist. So look, back to this sauce. And I've made more than I need for this meal for sure. But if you want to bag it up and freeze it, you can use this for so many different things. It's amazing as a dip. Let me just try a bit. Wow. You've got heat, but very gentle, really gentle. The parsley's there, it's fresh. You've got the fragrant garlic, and those sweet peppers is so, so good. I've got a nice big platter. I'm going to take some of this sauce straight on there like that. It's an amazing consistency. 3 or 4 nice big spoons. The steak here, I want to just slice it beautifully. About 1/2 centimetre thick. Oh, Jules is going to like this. Nice and blushing. That is exactly how my Jules likes it. Look at that, beautiful. Super juicy and really, really tender. Lovely spring onions. And then the crispy bits. Now to go with that, I've put in the oven a beautiful sweet potato. Take the skin off. I'm just going to smash it up. You can do normal potatoes, of course, but that doesn't count as one of your 5 fruit and veg a day. This is actually a vegetable. It's delicious. I think the sweetness of this goes really, really well with the chimichurri sauce. And if you want to kind of get some of that parsley that you had earlier, you can just chop that through and you just make it a little bit fresher. A little season of salt and pepper. And I think this just makes a really nice thing to have with the steak. So smashed sweet potato in here. Right, little taste before I serve it to my lovely, lovely girl. Look, we got the steak here. And that, with the sauce, and let's get a crispy bit. Come on, crispy bit, come over here. It's gonna be a thing of joy. It is so tender. Cooking the steak in its own fat makes it really, really delicious. If you love steak, try that technique. And that expression of the red chimichurri is so good with the steak. Sweet, fragrant. The chili's really gentle. That sauce takes your everyday steak to the next level. Right, I've got my lucky shirt on. Let's serve it up to Jules. Right, lovely girl. What do you reckon?
It's really nice. It's very fresh.
I like your dress. You look so pretty. You like it?
Amazing. The steak's like butter. Buddy!
But don't ruin our romantic night.